Welcome back to the channel, Living and Investing in Bryan-College. And today is CashFlow Friday. So for those of you who don't know what CashFlow Friday is, this is a movement that I believe every person should get into place and in a space where they have passive income exceeding expenses. And so every Friday, I come this month of March doing it live with you and teaching you just a little snippet of some of the things that I always teach some of my coaching clients and the things that I had to follow. And so today, we're going to jump in. So if you're on Facebook and you're seeing this, we're just going to kind of use that time to continue to pour into your education and help you understand a little bit more about the game. You can go run and play the game. But one of the biggest, you can run and find that game and play it yourself. But one of the biggest things that I like about doing CashFlow Friday, it is a way for me giving back. So if you're not familiar with my story, me and my wife starting investing in real estate back in 2017. Now, um, next week we'll be going over a in-depth presentation, and next week we'll be going on an in-depth presentation. That way, I can be able to show you a little more about my story. So that is coming in here shortly. But um, hey. So I'm doing live real quick, Jeanette. So just bear with me. So, all right. Sorry, so I got two things going on. So I'm live with you guys, and then I'm also got over here on Zoom. But a little bit about my story. Me and my wife started in 2017, and one of the things I realized real quick is there was not a lot of resources and places for me to go if I wanted to maintain this mindset. But then also, what are the things I want to do to um, continue to be in a better space mentally to do better? Because the biggest frustration that I found is that when you're learning the new things about money and you say, hey, I want to start getting passive income, that's cool and all, like that's clickable, right? And that's, a lot of people will say, man, yeah, that's cool, I want the legacy generation wealth. But a lot of people, they may throw that out there, but then it's like, okay, what's the support behind it? What's the education that's going to help me get there? And so a lot of the things that I coach and mentor is just my story. It's like, this is how we did it, this is how we're still doing it, and I just like to pull people along with me. So one of the things that we did, when I did early on, was uh, it was this game. It was Cash Flow. Well, it was a game by Robert Kiyosaki. So if you're familiar with the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, I don't think I have a picture of it. I'll have it next week. But Rich Dad Poor Dad, he came up with this game and a concept. And so if you look at this screen, let me see, I'll put that up for you. So this is like the game. So one of the purposes behind the game is you need to get your passive income to exceed your expenses. So I practice this game, but then I play this game. But the first thing you need to do is learn how to get out of the rat race. Now, hey, you can go play this by yourself. You can, don't ever have to worry about me. But I think it's so helpful is that when you learn how to play the game in a group of people, and you can understand, like, what are decisions that I'm making. And to be honest with you, people always try to ask me questions. So what should I do? I'm like, I don't know. What would you do if you didn't have me there? So I'm laughing seeing some people laugh on Zoom because that's often what it is. But what I realize is that when we go to, it's a chart in here, and it's a little blurry, but just bear with me. But we are spiritual beings. So, I'm a believer in God who sent his son Jesus, right? And I believe when he created us from a spirit. When we give our life over to Christ and we have his spirit, and then therefore we still have our emotions, we still have our mind, we still have our body. So what that means is you still have to learn how to train your emotions. You have to learn how to train your mind, and you have to train your body. So think about when you need to make better financial decisions. How have you attached emotionally to money? How have your mind start to look at money? And then how do your body respond? Like, you ever get nervous? Um, like, if I go to Vegas, and I've been to Vegas several times just for conference meetings, like, it's no part of me that is tempted to go on those machines. I promise you, you can say, man, look, I don't have that type of gambling spirit inside of me. So instantly my emotion, like I'm numb to it. Like, and in my mind, I have great control over that. And my body's like, I don't, like, I'm good. Like, I need to get outside. There's no windows out here. I don't know what time of the day it is if I stay in here too long. So if you didn't know that, they it's a mind game. But I use that example. It's a silly example, but the point is that when we learn something new, we have to understand that it's a spiritual aspect of us that has to encourage us, but then it's an emotion, it's a mind, and it's decisions that we have to make. When you realize, man, I'm out of money, but you say I want to start this goal, like what is your emotion going to tell you? And a lot of that is something only personally you're going to know. So you don't realize when you try to make better money decisions, these are the things oftentimes that stop you. Your emotions around money. Maybe your mom and dad didn't talk about money, so you have to learn it your own. That was my story. So my mom and dad, they didn't teach me, my wife, or anybody about money. So the first time actually we learned about money was it was from Dave Ramsey, and it was like all debt is bad debt, right? So I got kids coming in, so bear with me. So all debt is bad debt. And hey buddy, it's downstairs. In the mommy room? Yes. I know it's not in here. So all debt is bad debt. And the reality is my my radars went off. Anytime somebody told me, look, you need to take out a loan. Anytime somebody told me anything about money, I would tense up because I would like, if I can't pay for it in cash, I'm not gonna do it, right? And so I trained myself emotionally to like think of in my mind when debt was a thing or when debt was mentioned, what did I want to do? I simply would. I didn't want to hear anything about it, right? And I remember I got to a point where we had to. Me and my wife, we stayed like in a house with when we was first married, we rented for about 3 to 4 years. And I remember staying with a good friend of mine and him and his wife, and like my wife, and to this day, she's like, I would highly not recommend you stay with another couple. So, so, but for me, I was saving money, right? I was saving money so that I could be able to get some money to go pay for a house in cash. And we I was working with, I was just in sales. So I've always been in sales. And at the time, the owner of the sales company also owned real estate. Now, one of the things that was interesting is that when we moved from that one place, we went to one of his locations. I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. Like you got a little spot. Let me go rent that out, right? And the rent was oftentimes like the same amount as a mortgage, but just kind of stuck in that mindset, thinking about things differently. Thinking about like, hey, like I don't want to jeopardize, how I feel about money right now. Like I'm in my zone. I've made up my mind on what I want to do, and hey, that's what I'm gonna do. So um, I remember him. I remember I went to go visit my mentor, the one who's really helped me get into real estate. And when I went to him to help him ask him questions around real estate, he basically was like, "Hey, well, you can." He was like, "Hey, you can continue to rent, or you can look at some of these benefits." And at that point, I was in sales for about 6 years, and I knew at that point I was I was missing something. And it's like when you start doing something for so long, and it's like, okay, it's redundant, it's not exciting, it's not fun. Like that's your sign. Like you something changed, and just life happened, right? You start doing something that's redundant, and it's like I don't got no life from this. Like it's not exciting, but I'm saving up, right? I'm gonna pay for everything in cash. And I just remember him sitting down and telling me, like, look at these benefits, look what happens, and look what we're building. At the time, he was building, I think, like a 6,000 square foot home. So it opened my mind and went back, and my wife was like, she was really just waiting for me to turn the corner. And so I started reading books, and I started looking at my situation. So my owner, who owned the sales company, who owned the real estate, I started thinking for a second. I said, let me just put two and two together. Now, this guy actually owns this company, and then he owns real estate. So he's paying me commission, and then I'm going back and giving him commission and rent. I said, you know what? We gonna have to. This not gonna work no more. I don't know why. It was like now that's been happening for I think we didn't even stay there for a whole year. I broke the lease and everything, and we were in good, had a good relationship. When you top salesperson, kind of come to a realization, he understood that, right? Um, so we left and got a house. But then from there, like, it was an ongoing journey that I had to continue to invest in myself. And then about a couple of years, we bought our first property, and then we got to 4 properties, and pretty much from there we got up to 20 and still growing to today. So I say all that to say is that it's a journey, and it's a journey oftentimes that is kind of lonely. So I'm gonna share this, and then we're gonna get into the game because I know some of my crew, some of the people. So I talk about this game because I was like, okay, how do I face my fears? Because for me, when I had to go play this game, it helped me uncover my fears, some of the lies I had about money, the myths I had about money, and my personal self-talk. And one of the things that I like about this game, and I think why a lot of people like to play with me and kind of be there, is that I can see the same fears that you have about money. It's like, you see a good deal, it tells you it's a good deal, but you like, but what am I missing? And we start overthinking things. And then when we start overthinking things, that's the same thing as some type of myth or some type of fear, some type of lie that you have to uncover. Here's the reality. That's sometimes hard to do by yourself. It's hard to be able to figure out what's really holding me back. And then you have to look yourself in the face and say, what am I doing? How am I holding myself back from the goals that I set for myself? And I want you to just imagine, just think back to, we're in now March, the 3rd month of 2024. We all go into the New Year's with a new resolution, new me, right? What happened? And you know what the question I'm asking. What happened? You said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. Same for me, right? But oftentimes what happened is not only those fears creep up, but then we find ways to suppress it. And the one thing that I realize is that when you don't have 2 things, when you don't have proper education and a continual education to help you move forward on a goal, and then when you don't have adequate support, it's very hard for you to keep any goal. Because if you say, I want to lose weight, if you say, I want to make more money, you say whatever you want to say. First, you need to continue educating yourself about that topic, because you don't know what you don't know. What you know right now, if you keep doing that, you're going to keep getting the same results. Then number 2, oftentimes support, you need that. Whether that's accountability with your spouse or just a group of people to turn to, say, hey, I don't understand what to do here. I don't understand, like, what's going on. And so for me at the time, it was my wife, and we shared some deep intimacy, right? Like, we drew real close together, right? But I go into that and say, that's why I'm really passionate about CashFlow Friday, and that's why you're gonna continue to hear about me. And we have a group coaching that we're gonna start opening up for some of those who've asked me, hey, how do I do this, and yada yada. So, anyways, all that to say, I just wanted to jump into that real quick because uh, each Friday this month in March, I'm gonna be doing online, and you can be able to come play with me and anybody else who's coming from my coaching program to do this game. You can understand, like, what does it take for me to do that, right? And what it takes for me to get there. And then later within this month, we'll have a presentation that goes over my story a little bit more in detail, so you're gonna understand a little bit more about me, what all I'm doing to continue to provide support and education for anybody that I can be able to help, whether you're a real estate agent or not. So appreciate you guys for just tuning in. I'm gonna hop over here to the Zoom. Thank you for the love. But if you want to join, just always, it's pretty much free. You can be able to join me over at on I'm gonna restart this on YouTube. So if you go to Living and Investing in Bryan-College Station, you can be able to catch us live there playing a game and learn directly with us. So appreciate you guys, appreciate the love. Hope you enjoy your Friday. Hope March 1st started off like you wanted to. And if it's not, then guess what? You're still in control of only one person, and that's yourself, and what you think in your mind, how you feel in your body. Reflect, make better decisions, and start building up the cash flow. Or, hey, you'll be forced to labor. That's what they say in Proverbs. It's the diligent will rule, while the slothful will be put to forced labor. So I think about that, because I'm like, all right, if I'm diligent enough with anything that God has given me, then I will be able to enjoy this side of heaven, right? So I can walk on this earth and do the things that I'm supposed to do. When I'm diligent, I'm responsible for the work that I have to do. But if I'm not, and I always think about this because in sales, I used to see people up in their 60s and 80s just working because they had to. It's like maybe you just partied your whole life away. That's generally what Friday is about, right? So, anyways, I can go down another rabbit hole, but I'm not, but I love you. Appreciate you. So, and I'm out.